So I wanted to do a quick little video just about Mercury retrograde and how I'm feeling during Mercury retrograde and how I'm feeling during July. It's like a little check-in. I've been feeling like I can't talk to the camera for a while and I don't really know why, and I think I'm starting to realize that it's really important for me to share my thoughts, and I've gotten back into it and I've gotten back into talking again. But it was hard for me for a while to put the camera on to talk. It just gets like that sometimes. I wanted to talk about Mercury retrograde and how I'm feeling during it, because I feel like there's a lot of like shifts happening at the moment, and I'm definitely feeling that. And I want you to know that if you're like a sensitive person, then it's totally okay to be feeling these shifts. It's almost like a ride at the moment. I feel like it's like up and down, almost like it's not like a linear path at the moment. Like it's kind of, how do I explain? I feel like it's up in the air, almost like there's almost like it's hard to see the bigger picture right now, um, which can bring about some like fogginess, and it can bring about some like unclear, like it can bring about like unclearness, and like clarity is something I feel like I love the feeling of. Like I love feeling like I know what I'm doing. I love feeling like I know the answers to things, and I just have to remind myself during this Mercury retrograde that it's okay not to have all the answers. It's okay not to know everything all of the time. And I get so caught up in feeling like I have to know. And I think it's just a lesson that I'm learning, that it's okay to slow down, it's okay to take a break, it's okay to not have everything figured out. It's like a constant pressure we put on ourselves to know, have it in the know all the time, and to just admit that sometimes we don't know everything. It can be hard to admit that. I don't know whether it's an ego thing, I don't know whether it's just a human thing. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's something I've been thinking a lot about, is like answers, like, or like outcomes and conclusions, and like the end goal, this destination, you know? I feel like there's this pressure to have that end goal and that destination like known or reached. And I'm like, what's the point? Like, I feel like learning and growing and experiencing is so much more rewarding than this end goal of having what you want. Like, it feels good to have what you want and it feels good to get there and it feels good, but there's a lot of pressure around having it. And I'm just releasing the pressure from myself and just being like going with the flow more, trusting more. Because I feel like the last couple of months I've found it hard to trust. Like, I've found it really hard to trust. I felt like I had to control everything. I felt like I had to have everything in a box and labeled, and like that's just something that doesn't agree with me anymore. And it's something that I found harder to deal with, having these expectations and these pressures. Um, I know over the I know over the last couple of months I felt more anxious than usual, and I don't know where that's come from, and it's like something that I've been dealing with. And I feel like just now I'm starting to get that grounded energy. I'm starting to get that grounding of like, okay, this is how I was feeling, or this is why this happened, and like trying to like see it from a different perspective. I know that when you look back in retrospect, things seem different, and you like, oh, I could have done that, I could have done this, and like try and improve things. But we're learning and we're growing, and it's just reminding I'm just keep reminding myself of the process. It's tough though, it's really tough to have the process always in mind when you're really focused on the end goal. So I guess I'm just trying to like relieve the pressure from myself and see like the beauty and like appreciate the day, instead of appreciating how the day's gonna come or how the day's gonna have the outcome for me that I want. um I just wanted to talk about that, because I feel like I talk about that a lot in my videos, of like this pressure and this like fear and this outcome. And I don't know, I feel like that's something I struggle with the most, like one of the biggest things I struggle with the most. um Another thing I struggle with, I'm just telling you everything. Another thing that I struggle with is like purpose. And I know that I've spoke about this before, that like purposes are small, and then there's big purposes, and there's purposes that you have, that you set for yourself, and then there's external purposes. um there's different ways of viewing it, really. I feel like I'm at a time in my life where I'm like craving a purpose, I'm craving more of a purpose. And I just feel like it was easy for me to isolate myself. It's easier for me to isolate myself than it is to go through discomfort. I've learned that about myself. And I've learned that I can't hide away from these things that make me uncomfortable anymore, because I can't grow as a person. I can't become stronger if I just stay in the same place and stay within my comfort. Um, I wanted to talk a bit about moving out of your comfort zone as well, because that's so hard. Like, I struggle with that. Like, when I moved to uni, I found it really hard to sit within this discomfort that I felt. And people were telling me, like, it will pass, like, this discomfort will pass, like, you'll feel better once you've settled in. And I didn't. And I think because I didn't feel better once I had settled in, like, I didn't settle in. It was like 6 months in and I was still not settling in. I feel like that was something that made me just like run away from what I was uncomfortable with. Um, and I'm just learning that I want to take new steps, and I want to take new personal ways of pushing myself out of what I'm scared of, because that's the only way I am actually going to grow. I know we hear that so many times, like, you won't grow unless you put yourself out there. But I feel like I've become like really in my own shell, and I find it easier to isolate myself than to push myself out of that shell. And that's where I'm really looking at the moment, is like, why do I hold myself back? Why am I'm just asking myself questions. I'm not judging myself. I'm not like putting that opinion down on myself, like, why are you doing that? I'm more just like asking questions, like, okay, why do I feel the need to act this way? Why do I feel this way? Like, really going in there. I guess thinking about it, and like, I guess I have this thing of like disillusion with like ideas and reality. Like, the idea of something is always, for me, better than the reality. And that's something, maybe it's because I'm a Pisces, that I deal with a lot, is like, I have all these amazing ideas and I have all these amazing things that I want to do, and then it comes to the reality of it and I back away or I shy away. And I think that's where I'm starting to like psychoanalyze myself, and I'm starting to be like, okay, why are you actually doing this? Like, what are you actually scared of? And I feel like that's been good for me to actually do that. um I could make like a whole video on discomfort and being uncomfortable and like growing through discomfort. Like, I could make a whole video about that, because there's so many like key points to it. Like, there's so many other ideas. Like, there's so much to talk about within that. Because it's something that's present in a lot of our lives that we shy away from, and I know I do, and it's something I'm still trying to deal with. Um, to actually go through with the things that I want to do, to actually like put them into action, I find that difficult. Um, so that's just something that I've been thinking about. I know that we're in a Mercury retrograde right now, so we're in a time where things are slowing down. We're looking within ourselves, like we're having more alone time. We're having more internal thoughts. We're kind of analyzing, reassessing, rebuilding. I feel like I'm rebuilding a lot of storylines that I've told myself over the past couple of months that have been limiting me. Um, but this is just a reminder that we're all in it together, and that we're all going through something, and that we all have lessons to learn, and it's not going to always be perfect. Um, so yeah, I hope that makes anyone feel better. I hope it makes you feel, or maybe it's given you like something that maybe you can work on. I like to be able to do that. But yeah, thank you for listening. Bye.